Welcome. My name is Doug Simcox, and today my co-host Sam Swearingen. Now, he is a 2-time North America Rodeo Commission saddle bronc riding champion. He's my co-host today, and this is Beyond the Chutes. So today, Sam and I catch up. Now, Sam and I are riding for the brand BTC Beyond the Chutes, and you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we're now up on YouTube. And there's a brand new Facebook group page, Beyond the Chutes. Find it, like it, follow it. And Sam, what a beautiful day today. What have you been up to? How's the weather where you are? Let me ask that first.
Well, it's a little smoky out here.
No, wait a minute. Smoke? I don't understand. I ask about weather and you tell me it's smoky. Is that weather?
It is weather. The great French Canadians are having wildfires up there, and it's blowing down our way. And it is kind of irritating. Your throat gets a little sore when you're out there, and it's not terrible, but if there was a reason to wear a mask, now we have one.
Okay, so, really? Okay, so it's that bad up there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's horrible, but some days it's really bad. But,
okay. So you got to watch the air quality, not just if it's raining or it's snowing. You got to now watch the air quality up there.
Yeah, making my hay, I always had to worry about the rain and everything that's going on, and now the smoke is kind of blocking the sun out where it doesn't dry real good anyway. So it's like,
really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, taking an extra day. So.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't have thought of that. My goodness. So what have you been up to? I know last time we talked, your hay is all up for the first cutting, and I think you were working on for some neighbors and some friends.
Yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of that, and working on the house a little bit, doing things I should have done when it was new, but just kind of putzing around.
Okay. All right, so a little bit of downtime for you. You have to get busy again making your second cutting. So last week, as you know, last weekend I went up to Putnam, up to that nice road course up there. It's about a 2-mile asphalt road course up there. And as you know, I worked with professional driving coach Kelly Jones. He's of Racecraft One right there in Indianapolis. And what a great actually 2 days. What a great 2 days. We'd gone up there with a little bit different setup, a little bit different rear camber, a little more negative camber, which as you go around a corner puts more of the tire onto the surface of the pavement. And what a great experience. And I ran faster, Sam, on the final run of my day by about a half a second than what I'd ever run up there in my car. So what a great adventure with him. And he shot video, which we reviewed, and he has all kinds of data. He can tell me if I'm braking too soon or accelerating too soon or turning in too late. And everything in the racing these days is based on data. So it was a great day, great 2 days actually. The car did great, and we're going to head up. We're going to head up to the Northeast with it here, up into New Hampshire, and going to run 2 tracks up there in the next during the month of July. So great to have a good professional driving coach, Sam.
Yeah, he sounds like an outstanding man. I'd like to learn a little more about him from what you said. He just sounds like very professional and hardworking and pushing the limits his whole life. And it just doesn't feel good when you do better than you did the day before.
Absolutely. And you've got to be in a learning mindset. And that's the whole thing. You better set your ego at the door. Doesn't matter what you've been doing. Doesn't matter what you think you know. You've got to be open and willing to listen. And some of this was, okay, I'll try it. And I did. And guess what? I was faster. So you got to have a little faith in your coach. I think that's a big, important part. And to be in that learning mindset, Sam, you got to be wide open.
You said a big thing right there. You got to set your ego at the door. A little pin can pop the biggest balloon.
I like that.
And if your ego will get popped.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So be ready to move forward when it does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes that ego where we think we know it all is what really is holding us back from trying something different or learning something new or advancing. I like that. That's a good slogan for a t-shirt, Sam. We ought to put that up, I think.
I just thought of that, but yeah, it's so true. And as people, we don't want to do anything new, and I'm as guilty as anybody.
Yeah.
It works fine. Leave it alone.
Right.
Don't
Right.
touch my phone that I don't know how to work.
Right.
Don't get me another one because I don't want to. Give
Yeah.
me my flip phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we as a society don't really want to try step out of the box
Yeah.
per se,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
And
we should.
we should, absolutely. And when you think of these bull riders, these bronc riders, these calf ropers, all these rodeo athletes, barrel racers, you better be open to learning new things and trying new things. And they aren't always major, but sometimes it takes a while to get that new skill started and new skill put into practice well enough so it happens during that 8-second ride or 14-second barrel race run.
You know, old habits are the hardest thing to change.
Yep. Yep.
So if you learn it right from the start and then add little things to it,
Mm-hmm.
it is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But old habits are so hard to break. With Dalen, I didn't let him get on bucking machines and things like that because that's how you get old habit.
Really?
On the
Okay.
kind that roll and just have a rope.
Mm-hmm.
The right kind, yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the kind that makes you do dumb stuff just so you stay on
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work on a real animal.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So what a great segue. Got a listener, Dale Pack. He's up here in the I think he's over in Indiana, and he sent in a comment, a message to me. He said, "Good morning, Doug. Just curious if you know of any clinics around for beginners for rough stock." He said his son is really wanting to get into it. He isn't even in junior high yet, and I like that Dale is looking forward. He liked our conversation on helmets, which we're going to pick up here in just a minute. So what do you do? Let's say this young man's in 5th grade, 6th grade, Sam, comes to you and says, "I want to ride bulls. I want to be a professional bull rider." What's the advice? What's the timeline? How might you set up a program for somebody wanting to get into bull riding?
And that's hard with a young kid like that. When they live with me, like
Mm-hmm.
the boys, it was
Mm-hmm.
easy because
Okay.
that's what you knew that's where their goals were and what they wanted to do, and they lived with you, and you could work at it all day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said before, bought them a ping pong table for Christmas for, one thing it would help them where they wanted to go with the hand-eye
Mm-hmm.
coordination and
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that gave them a Christmas present that was not more money out of my pocket.
Right. Right.
No,
Right. Right.
but probably the best thing for any rough stock rider to do is ride horses bareback up and down short, quick little hills and
Really?
turn.
Okay. Okay.
And it gets them the feel of the animal
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
to start feeling where they're going and what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But riding horses is probably the best thing, and bareback riding is even better.
Okay. Okay. Getting a good seat.
Yeah, feeling the animal.
You
Yeah,
bet.
it's
You bet.
getting up over them because you can't ride a horse bareback. Yeah, most people don't have any clue about horses. When you get on a horse bareback, they sit about a foot farther back. They're right in the middle of the horse's back,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to slide them up and show them, and that'll give you that in order to stay there where you got to be when the horse is going up a quick little hill and dropping down the other side. And then, how they got these motocross things for the kids going over these hills up
Mm-hmm.
and down
Mm-hmm.
and jumps and quick turns.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what would help with somebody starting to ride.
Okay. And then you've talked also about a drop barrel.
Yep.
And yeah. So what would be the drills on a drop barrel that would be useful to a young man wanting to get started?
Um, that way, it would be kind of like riding a horse. It would get you up over the front
Mm-hmm.
and get automatically without thinking about it, push your chest out and get up over the front of that bull
Mm-hmm.
or that animal
Mm-hmm.
or the drop barrel.
Okay.
And then um, when I was down at Jerome's, he took it to another level that I never thought of. Jerome Davis,
Mm-hmm.
world champion bull rider. We took
Mm-hmm.
Dale into a couple schools down there,
Mm-hmm.
and he would get them out of position like they were getting bucked off and
Mm-hmm.
how to turn
Oh,
loose
wow.
and jump back into position.
Okay.
I never thought of that. It was always my mindset was always never get out of position, but it happens.
Right.
So
Right.
he was trying to
Mm.
compensate and teach them to physically get back to where they belong and mentally doing it without thinking about it. And that was a great thing that I learned that day.
You bet. You bet. And speaking of rodeo schools, there's some around. Golly, Lyle Sankey Rodeo Schools. He's been around absolutely forever, Sam. And I think he's got a pretty good reputation. I think I went to one of his schools, would have been a long, long, long time ago. Probably back in the late 80s, something like that. And the big thing is, of course, matching up the stock. You've talked about this, getting on the right stock for the age of the cowboy or the cowgirl that's wanting to learn how to do this, not to get overpowered, so they can actually learn while they're riding just a little bit and build some confidence.
Yeah, the right stock is the most important thing at any school because you're trying to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't learn anything if you're getting up off the ground the first jump.
Right.
Uh, you want them to at least feel it and get the movement of the animal and what you're supposed to be doing. And that might not come till year down the road, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
getting on the right animal, you can ride them a little ways.
Right.
And definitely the worst thing in the world for anybody learning to ride is, well, this one doesn't buck that hard, it doesn't, but it travels and half runs and
Mm-hmm.
kicks once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Just terrible
Mm-hmm.
to learn on. Just terrible,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, so with these younger kids, whether they're doing horses or bull riding or whatever, steers are really good because they usually have enough kick and they don't go as fast as another like a pony or
Mm-hmm.
something small.
Okay.
There's only good practice horses. I mean, good that will just hop enough to help them, but won't go and travel are extremely hard to find. I was blessed with 3 or 4 of them through the thousands of horses I had that were outstanding for kids. But and then when you looked over the numbers at the end of the year, you would buck those 3 or 4 horses probably 5-1 to everything else, even at a rodeo. If you're trying to help kids.
You bet. All right. Well, I did a little research, Dale, and Rodeo Sankey School. He's got a couple in Ohio, one in December, and looks like Oak Hill, which is, I'd guess, about an hour due east of Cincinnati. One in one then, and then one next April as well. The other thing he spoke about, Sam, that we talked about last time we were on was rodeo helmets, and I found just a real quick blurb. I've been doing a little research, and it's titled "What to Look For in a Good Bull Riding Helmet." And it says a good serviceable bull riding helmet features adequate jaw and facial protection, smooth contours, durability, lightweight, a snug fit, and breakaway capabilities. You had talked about the breakaway capability, Sam, and I believe that the helmet, the hockey helmet, or the helmet that Dalen had ridden in, didn't have the breakaway, and they thought that might have caused the jaw injury that he had.
Yeah, I think that was just what happened. It was more of a hockey type helmet, and I'm not sure it wasn't just a hockey helmet.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was about 13 or so, 12, 13 in that area, he had his jaw broke because of the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as much as it protected him, it also hurt him.
Right,
And
right, right.
I believe he uses a 100X helmet now. And we did, after he broke his jaw, his mother started doing a lot of research on it
Mm-hmm.
and started calling people. And this is where she ended up, and yeah, put the work into it to try to help these kids as much as they can. So if you are got young kids out there starting, I can't emphasize get the right helmet from the start.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like old habits,
Yeah.
get the right thing the best you can to begin with.
You bet.
And I I had a nephew that his son was going to start riding, and I kept saying, get the helmet, get the helmet. Well, he doesn't really,
Mm-hmm.
I said, get the helmet.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you're a doctor. Don't
right.
be so dag burn tight with your money. Get that
Right,
kid the right kind of, and if
right,
it doesn't work, well, you just wasted a little bit of money,
right,
not a
right,
big
right,
deal.
right, right.
So it yeah, right kind of helmet. And going back to Lyle Sankey's school, I'm sorry I didn't
Oh yeah,
touch on that very
yeah.
much. Schools are. I never went to one,
Mm-hmm.
but what a wonderful way to help kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just wonderful. And the younger, the better. If they just listen and not even get on, they can take take home something.
Okay.
These guys know what they're doing for a reason. They've been there, they've done that, and just a great opportunity for
You bet.
kids.
And I'll continue to do some research, Sam, because I think this is a good topic. Back talking about the rodeo schools, we should find out what some good ones are that are taking place these days. I know Gary LeFew in the past has had a few, right? And of course, you and your brothers had them for years. And then coming back to the 100 helmets, X helmets, I'm looking at them right here. The total weight's about 2.6 pounds. Titanium alloy face mask, carbon fiber face frame, and chin cup. And then they have a special Comlock system, which is all to that connection, I would say, or how it's the chin straps connected. Got a carbon fiber face frame, face mask build at 17 degrees for vision enhancement. So, and they're going to cost you some money. I mean, there's no way around it, but my goodness, you got to stay safe. And right now it's mandatory. If you're going to ride Little Britches Rodeo or high school rodeo, it's mandatory. So why not put them in the best, keep them safe.
Exactly. Spend it one time and forget about it. I know sometimes it's hard to do, but it can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a firm believer in the horse riding to wear the helmet because the
Mm-hmm.
way they jerk your neck.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the bull riding, definitely,
You bet.
definitely. I can't. It saved Dalen's life. Period.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, yep. 2 years ago.
no other way
Absolutely.
to put it.
You
No
bet.
other way to put it.
You bet. Got stepped on. Absolutely. And then before we roll on, Hayden Pack, pole bender out of Kentucky here. She is headed to the National High School Finals. Sam, that's less than about 3 weeks from now. July 6th, heck, that's 2 weeks from now. July
Yeah.
16th through the 22nd, Gillette, Wyoming. You've been out there. Dalen and Colton have been out there. Give us a couple minutes of your memories of such a place.
Yeah, I went. I only got the chance to go to one high school finals,
Mm,
but it is a really big deal with kids from not just all over the country, but Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Mexico. It is the world's largest rodeo,
Yep.
and it it really separates. You see the kids that are doing it for the fun, and the kids that really the desire of some of these kids is just amazing,
Hmm.
and it will push them to the next level, and just really, really good watching. When you get in that short go, there's some talent.
There's some talent. So I did a little research. I was on the website last night, National High School Association website. They are celebrating their 75th year this year, Sam. I had no idea they've been around that long.
I wouldn't either. I never heard of it till I was probably, you know, 25 years old. I didn't even know there was high school rodeo existed. And what an amazing thing for kids. And I thought, man, that would have been pretty neat. But yeah, it just gives them an opportunity. And, like in high school sports and stuff, it goes to the state level. If you win a state championship, that's amazing. Well, this goes to a world level.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's just so incredible.
Absolutely. So, Hayden Pack, we say congratulations for qualifying to the National High School Finals and have fun. Good luck. Go enjoy it. As Sam said, it is a big deal. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to see a lot of fans, a lot of arenas out there, lots going on all the time. So, go out there, have fun. Sam, any advice for someone that first run in a big arena and a big stage like that? Sitting on their horse in the alley, ready to go. What do they do?
Well, just think it's in your backyard.
Okay.
It's the same thing. The poles aren't moving.
Right.
They're just like they are in your practice pen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
treat it that way
Treat it
and
that way.
enjoy it.
You bet.
Enjoy it. Your parents are spending thousands of dollars for you to enjoy this, girl.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it and have fun.
Have fun.
Uh, it, yeah, it's pretty incredible because she had to be in the top four of her state
Absolutely.
to get
Absolutely.
there. So that's good on its own, but now it's the next thing,
You bet.
So yeah.
Representing Kentucky for us, Hayden Pack.
hmm
Good luck.
Good luck, young lady.
Good luck, young lady. We're cheering for you. And we'll find out. Dale will text me and let me know how she's doing out there. But what an adventure. What an incredible adventure the whole family will be in for. So this is a point, Sam, where I typically ask, how is Dalen? And I got to thinking the other day, I'm not sure if all of our listeners know exactly who Dalen is. I talk about Dalen as if everybody knows who Dalen is. And so let's talk a little bit about Dalen. When I met Dalen, he was riding calves and junior bulls. Give us kind of a timeline, Sam, of how Dalen come into rodeo, and we saw him at the Zebra finals and so forth. So go ahead, Sam.
Well, and I can talk about any one of my kids, so this is a good a good thing. And when you, when you brought this up, who is Dalen?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, you're right. A lot of these listeners don't even know who we're talking about, but
Right.
Dalen and all the kids are outstanding
Mm-hmm.
kids. But Dalen started when I married his mother. He was into junior bull riding at that
Okay.
time,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we started seeing he had such talent,
Mm-hmm.
and it put him on the right livestock and put him on the right livestock, and it just kept progressing, and he just would show me one step more
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
what his ability was,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then when he got old enough to get on horses, I took livestock to a school down in Pennsylvania, and Dalen was in it, and he went down with the semi truck,
Mm-hmm.
and his mother and I stayed the night at the house, and we're driving down there the next day, and I wouldn't let him get on until I was there,
Mm-hmm.
and Cody DeMoss was doing the school,
Ah.
and Dalen kept calling, "Where are you at? I want to get on. Where are you at?" I mean, it was about a 4-hour drive. He
Yeah.
probably called us, 30 times, and
Right, right, right.
so his desire was there, and
Absolutely.
yeah,
And a little bit about Dalen. Not only a rodeo rider, he was a wrestler in high school and a pretty darn good wrestler, Sam.
yeah, he was actually an outstanding wrestler. He
Mm-hmm.
could have. It's no telling what he could have done if his heart was in that, like rodeo,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrestled for rodeo, and he actually did a podcast. It was called something about what wrestling has done for me, or
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
in that area. And I told him he didn't wrestle his senior year because I said, well, if you're going to ride and you want to not wrestle, I'll respect that, and
Mm-hmm.
just go that route. I said, but someday you'll regret it because you've only got this is the only time you can do that. And in that podcast, he did say, he said, I wish I would have wrestled my senior year, but wrestling has helped him immensely in what he wants rodeo wise.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, it's you and that person,
Mm-hmm.
and physically, he worked very hard at it, but he it gave him. Dalen was the type of wrestler that you didn't want to step on the mat with him.
Mm-hmm.
With even if you were better, it was gonna be a war, and
Right, right.
he wouldn't give up, and he would try. If he was getting beat, he would do what he could do to win. It didn't matter. And he was in maybe eighth grade or something. He lost to somebody in overtime and slapped the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, you had that much energy left. You didn't leave it all out there.
Yeah.
And I think that stuck with him. And there wasn't once he didn't leave it out there after
Yeah,
that.
you bet. You bet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the similarities, as we've talked, between wrestling and bull riding and that mental attitude, as you said, and the body awareness, the ability to make moves. We've seen him with him. And every time I see him, I swear that's a wrestling move, Sam, on the top of a bull.
Yeah, your hips, placing your hips is so important in both sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you get your hips higher than his wrestling, you usually get him down.
Mm-hmm.
And you can control your hips and move them on a bull where you want to be. It helps you immensely. So, um, yeah, and doing desperation moves in wrestling to try to win, and doing desperation moves to try to stay on the bull's back. It's the same scenario.
You bet. You
Yeah.
bet.
Mm-hmm.
And during high school, he competed in high school rodeo. And did he compete in? He competed in three events: bareback, saddle broncs, and bull riding. Sam.
He did. And he also competed in breakaway roping,
Oh, he
team
did.
roping.
Oh,
Yeah. Not that he really cared a lot about it,
yeah.
but people wanted him to rope with them, so
Okay.
they'd have partners, and it. And he could catch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One day the boys were arguing back and forth, and Colton said something. Well, they were both going to win the all around, and Colton had a pretty good lead. And Dalen said, "Well, I'm just going to enter the breakaway rope." And Colton spouted up, "You go ahead. You just do it. You know how kids do."
Right.
And
Right.
it was all fun and
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dalen won the breakaway roping. It's like,
Okay.
oh, and I
Oh.
didn't want to see that. I
Yeah.
didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I still think Colton won the all around that year. I'm not
Okay.
sure. So
Okay.
it ended up okay.
So his senior year, his fourth year in high school rodeo, he won the National High School Rodeo Association's Bareback Bronc Riding National Championship, Sam.
Yeah, I didn't get to go that year.
Huh.
Let's go back to his freshman year.
Oh,
He
okay.
should have won.
He should have won it then.
Won it. He should have won it his freshman year at
Oh.
7-9. He
Oh.
double grabbed.
Oh.
It was making an outstanding ride.
Yeah.
And he came back. When I talked to him, I said, "Well, why'd you double grab? What?" He said, "Because you always said if I get out of shape, to fight to get back in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't out of shape. I said, "Did you feel out of shape? Because you weren't." He
Right.
said, "Yeah, I felt bad."
Yeah.
Because you see so many of these young kids that when they start to get bucked off into their hand, which they'll hang and drag, they don't fight to save themselves.
I see.
They
I
just let
see.
it happen.
I
So
see.
if you're getting bucked off and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to hang and drag, you better fight like
I see.
everything you got because it's a lot easier than dragging around there.
You bet.
And
You bet. Hung up.
you
Yeah.
better fight to get back in that horse and get off the other side or get your hand out. It just takes 5 seconds of giving it everything you got can save you a lot of injury.
You bet.
And
You bet.
that's what I meant by it. And yeah,
Ah,
he was going to win it that year running away, landed on
really?
a standing
Really?
ride to a double grab.
Okay.
And yeah, and winning it the year he won it, the short go horse wasn't real good, but he made a very nice ride in the long go.
Okay.
And getting to that, he went to uh, the finals, the international youth finals,
Mm.
which is a
Oh,
big rodeo.
yeah, yeah.
And Dalen, when he rides, he tries to spur. I mean, everything. It's got no safety up whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, his hand got blown out on two horses, and I thought, what the heck? And he didn't know what was going on, but luckily, his college coach was there scouting him,
Mm-hmm.
and his rigging was broke in the back. It would
Oh, wow.
just give enough where his hand would come out, and he got that. He got a new rigging that week. They set it up, and he went and won the high school championship.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Right people in the right places helping you, right?
Yeah, and that is so important in life. So important.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about his rodeo coach. He gets recruited on full scholarship, goes to Panola State down in Texas, and rides for Jeff Collins, a rodeo coach. Now, while he's there, Sam, he rides bareback, saddle broncs, and bulls.
Yes. And Dalen got hurt at a PBR in Big Sky, Montana, tore his knee up. So he couldn't compete the first half of the year
Uh,
at the college rodeos.
mm-hmm,
And Jeff still put him on a scholarship, took care of everything just like they said they would.
mm-hmm,
And in the bareback riding, Dalen did not qualify for the college finals.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
He,
mm-hmm.
it just was too much ground to make up
Mm.
because them guys don't buck off horses. They might not score real good. Nah, I shouldn't say that. They don't mess up in the bareback riding. And the bull riding, he ended up with half a year qualifying for the college finals. And his coach, outstanding man. I can't say enough
Mm-hmm.
about him. I really didn't want him to go to that college, but he didn't want to go to a 4-year college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Dalen was recruited pretty heavy. I got people calling me, telling me, yeah, I remember when he was a young man, or a little kid following you around to these rodeos and all that. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. Well, it didn't happen because he wasn't there then.
yeah, yeah.
But, very heavily recruited. And he chose this, and he knew where he wanted to be and the right person to be with. Just outstanding guy. And,
You bet.
just a good man.
Good man, absolutely. And you're talking about taking care of Dalen. Well, Dalen kind of repaid it. He was the 2019 Bull Riding Rookie of the Year. He was also and this is college rodeo level at the finals and national championships. He was the men's Rookie of the Year. And then he also that year won the National College Rodeo Bull Riding Championship. So national championship in 2019. And for the first time, the Panola College Men's Rodeo Team won the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association National Championship. So Dalen's leadership and Dalen gosh, riding for Jeff, who had done such a solid for him when Dalen was hurt. Very cool to put put a year like that together when he comes back, Sam.
Yeah, and it it's just by the grace of God that he made the college finals because it was the last bowl, the last thing he had a chance to.
Mm,
And there was at this time Dalen was doing very well in the PBR also,
mm-hmm,
and the PBR he was under contract to go to the PBR events,
mm-hmm.
and he the PBR actually looking at it said, you know, you have to be here, and we talked about it a little bit, and they called back the next day and said, okay, no, you're good, you can go to these college rodeos and miss these events, and it led to just a great thing for the whole school and Jeff and Dalen, and because there again, that's something you'd never get back.
Right,
Because the
right.
next year was the COVID year, and they didn't even have the
Oh my
college
goodness.
finals.
Okay, okay, that's
So
right. And then in 2019, Sam, he also finished ninth in the world standings in the PRCA, Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, qualified for the Wrangler National Finals. He won round 5, and he placed in 3 rounds total at the Wrangler NFR. So he wins a national championship in the bull riding at the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association. He qualifies to the NFR and gets a go-round belt buckle. And then in 2019, he really got up on the map. Columbus, Ohio, he rode a bull, I believe at that point, that hadn't been ridden in one of the Unleash the Beast competitions, places there, and that kind of launches him. He qualified that year for the PBR World Finals in Vegas. And was it 2019 that he won the Canadian Bull Riding Championship as well?
yes, that year was just incredible. You can't. It, other than that, it was just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Only one other person has made the college finals, the NFR, and the PBR finals the same year. And actually, that guy, I don't remember his name, called Dalen
Oh,
and
wow.
congratulated him. He said, I never thought anybody would ever do it again.
Yeah.
But Dalen didn't only do that, he won the college finals
Yep.
and won the Canadian PBR championship. Nobody has ever done what he did
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
Just incredible. Uh, Put a lot of miles on, took
Yeah.
a lot of beatings, probably got on over 200 bulls. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
And it, it just it just doesn't get any better. I mean, I made a little cup up with what he did that year, and gave it to some close friends that's helped us along the way. And
Okay.
when you read
Okay.
that, it's just wow.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
most people have never ever accomplished one of those things, let alone 5 of them in the same year.
Yep. Yep. No, an outstanding year. Just an incredible year for Dalen. Absolutely. And then in 2020, he qualified for the PBR World Finals. It was held that year in Arlington, Texas. We're talking, in the midst of COVID. 2021, he qualifies for the PBR World Finals in Vegas. And then, and we were out there with you, Sam. That was our first time that we traveled to Vegas to watch him in the World Finals. And then, of course, last year, won the PBR World Finals, PBR World Championship in Fort Worth. Total earnings a little over $1.4 million at that rodeo alone. Pretty incredible season 2022. Gets picked up by the Carolina Cowboys. Wins the 2022 PBR King of the North, $100,000. 2022, a breakout, outstanding year. Hard to compare to 2019 with everything there, but an outstanding year from a money standpoint, at the very least, in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, 2022 is what he's worked for his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And after he bucked off the first bull there,
Mm-hmm.
the switch changed.
Yep.
His mental aspect, you could just see him,
Yep.
uh, the focus in him. We didn't even see them or go to dinner or anything that
Mm-hmm.
those 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We seen them when we went home in between the weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
just let him do because his you could just see the focus in him, and he just turned it around after the first one, and rode bulls that usually would buck him off going away from his hand, and just rode him with ridiculous ease,
Mm-hmm.
just the way you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And it came down to a close race. I'm
It
not
was
saying he
close.
walked away with it,
You
but it was
bet.
close. And but he really looked at, this is what I've worked for my whole life, and I'm gonna go get it. If you're gonna beat me, you're gonna, just like wrestling,
Yep.
you're gonna earn it.
Yep.
If you beat me, you earned it. You knew you were on the mat with somebody, and it was uh, it was exciting. I aged 30 years that week, but it was exciting.
That was a fun week for sure. Great venue, great place to watch bull riding. And yeah, a lot of drama, as you said, a close race, but golly, he came to play and he put everything out there. There was no slap in the mat when he was done, Sam.
No,
No,
no, it was nothing but effort the whole time.
absolutely. And as of right now, he's sitting first in that King of the North, PBR King of the North series. There's a bunch more to go, and I know teams are coming up, so that'll be interesting to see how he can weave the King of the North bull ridings into that with the demands of the team. And then, of course, the finals are in September in Minot. Am I saying that right? Minot?
No,
Minot?
Minot.
Minot, North Dakota, for the King of the North series. Now, last year he got a release. I think the teams were in Missouri that weekend. He got a release and was able to go up and compete for a couple days, and then he flew back. Richard Childress Racing jet flew him back into Missouri so he could compete on Sunday. So, what a great story. Now, looking at his stats, Sam, here's what the PBR says. He has had 478 bull rides in his bull riding career with the PBR. His riding percentage is 44%. He's made 28 90-point rides, and he's earned a little bit more than 2.5 dollars, I should say, since he's been involved in the PBR. And you kind of had conversations about this way back in maybe 2018 when he was starting to ride the Velocity Tour and getting geared up for that 2019 season. You guys had talked about where to go and how to get there, hadn't you?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
not saying he listened to me, but a lot of it wasn't his fault. That when he was just starting those smaller events, they'd call you, and like if somebody dropped out and you weren't up there to that level yet, where you were invited or just could enter and go,
Mm-hmm.
they would call him. And one day, him and his brother, they call him about noon, and he had to be in Wheeling, West Virginia, by
Mm-hmm.
6 o'clock.
Oh,
And
wow.
I said, "What the heck you doing?" And yeah, they made it. And his brother said he was a little scared
Mm-hmm.
getting there.
Mm-hmm.
But then Paducah, Kentucky, that was the one. I said, "Do you know how far that is
Oh,
from where
wow.
we're at? That's a
You bet.
long ways." And I guess he made it, but
Okay.
it
Okay.
all paid off. And now he is, I think, making such more wise decisions
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
he used to. It was just go get on. It didn't matter what.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking this weekend off, getting ready. He got invited to go to Calgary Stampede, so he's going there
Oh,
on
wow.
Tuesday. I think he rides.
Oh,
So
wow.
he said, "I just taken the weekend off and resting up," and that's something he'd have never done
Right.
2 or 3 years ago.
Good.
So
Good. Good.
yeah,
Good. And then, of course, he's got the ranch and the properties down around Sulphur Springs, Texas, horses, cattle, dogs. We got to talk about all that at some point. Last night I watched, I think it was the 6th episode of Amazon Prime called The Ride. And to our listeners, if you want to learn about these cowboys, these bull riders behind the scenes, their lives, their families, health issues, all kinds of things, the mental aspect of rodeo, of bull riding, you need to tune into this. It is absolutely excellent. Dalen, last night you was the episode, Sam, where you guys went to church, and just what a neat segment to the show.
Yeah, I've started to watch it now. I don't know where I'm at, but I have seen the one where we went to church, so I must be about the same spot you are.
Okay.
But they did a great job, and I think it tells the story of the teams and the riders and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where these people, and I'm not technical or anything, but every time I go to dinner with somebody, oh, we seen you on TV the other day, and I didn't even know what they're talking about at first.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people in this area that watch that ride on Prime.
Absolutely.
Network, and it really tells the story of these contestants,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's very well done,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy it. Of course, I got a vested interest, so
Sure.
I am going to enjoy it.
Oh,
but it just seems very well done, and really really nice to watch.
Well, I got to say, Sam, you were on there sitting in the pew, and has anyone from Hollywood called you? Has there been any kind of inquiries? I mean, you look like you talk about John Wayne and the Cowboys. Maybe finally you get discovered and you get to be part of that.
Not unless they're doing a horror movie or something like that.
Well, if you ever need an agent, Sam, when they call you, call me. Okay, we'll figure something out.
The Cowboys, I didn't understand that. How can you do this without me? I'm
Right.
the only one here that was that way.
Right. Yeah, the John Wayne movie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But this, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe Carrie, they should make a movie about her story. I firmly believe that.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. So let's talk about some upcoming rodeos. We want to stay current here. And last night, June 29th, so this Friday morning, we are recording this, the Ellicottville Rodeo kicked off 34 years. Friday night tonight at 7. They got fireworks tomorrow afternoon, 2:00. And Hollywood Harris, rodeo funny man, we've worked with him a bunch, Sam. Hollywood Harris is there, and we need to see him and catch up with him.
Yeah, and I was going to go last night.
Oh.
Eli was going to be riding, but he didn't get out the way he thought. I called Eli right before, I was getting ready to go, and he said, "Oh, no, I'm out there Sunday." I said, "Well, I guess I'm not going to go tonight then."
Okay.
But
you will get over this weekend.
Pardon?
You will get over there this weekend.
I think so. I'm going to call Carrie's dad and see if he wants to go down and
excellent.
See what day will work better for him if he does want to go. I know he likes to go, but getting back late and everything. We'll see. But
you bet.
Yeah, it'd be good to get down and say hi to everybody and just see how it's going.
You bet. And then the following weekend, July 7th and 8th, Friday and Saturday, 8:00, Crooked Creek Horse Park in Ford City, the Ford Armstrong Championship Rodeo. That's in Pennsylvania. One of the neatest rodeos, Sam, I think we do or have done. You got to know how to get there, out in the middle of nowhere. But man, when you are there, beautiful place to watch a rodeo. And the thing that I always remember about Ford City was the amount of money that we would raise in a 50-50. Now, so for our listeners, you buy a ticket and into this big bucket it goes, and 50-50 means if we raise $1,000, the winner gets half of that. And Ford City was great about it. The other half went to a local charity. And I mean, there were nights, Sam, when we raised $3,000-$4,000. So the winner would walk away with $1,500 to $2,000. Just crazy the amount of money that they could raise there.
Yeah, Actually, my wife won it once, and it
Yeah.
was $1,600.
Okay.
I never listened to it, and then I started listening, and yeah, it was getting up there $3,000, $4,000. She won 1,600, so it had to be 3,200, right?
3,200. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, that they really they do an outstanding job with it, and everything about that rodeo is good. It,
You
it
bet.
is
You
just a
bet.
good facility, good people,
Yep.
and everything about it's good.
Yep. And you can check them out on fortarmstrongrodeo.com. And then right behind it, Benton, July 11th through the 16th, kicks off their 38th annual Benton Rodeo. Check them out on bentonrodeo.com. Kick off with, I think some team penning and then some barrel racing. And then, is it Thursday night the rodeo starts, Sam?
Yes, the rodeo starts 7:30 Thursday night. All
Thursday night.
performances are at 7:30,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And
So
Sunday is the bull riding in the Bronx and the barrel racing.
yeah,
Okay. And the
and
cool thing, I remember when the Benton Rodeo Association did this. Oh, this was probably 7, 8 years ago. Usually, when you go to a rodeo, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is all one rodeo. So, single go round typically, if you remember from our terms, one ride over those 3 days, and then we see how your points do if you're high enough to place. They created something a couple years ago, probably 6, 7 years ago, where it's actually two separate rodeos, not counting the bull riding.
yeah, we did that for contestants to
Mm-hmm.
be able to come and stay and compete 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 3 times if you're a bull rider
Mm-hmm.
or a rough stock contestant and barrel racer. Like Thursday may be a PRCA rodeo,
Mm-hmm.
Friday and Saturday may be an ARA, IRA rodeo, and Sunday be the Bolorama.
You bet.
Uh, but then it kept doing it. They even when they wouldn't allow you to have a PRCA rodeo at the same time as
Mm-hmm.
another rodeo within 24 hours. They passed a rule for that, and it kind of hurt the one rodeo. But they kept doing it and
You
splitting it
bet.
up so that it gave the contestants another shot at money.
And that is
And
so cool with the price of fuel and the expense of going down the road. And what a great place to hang out. If you're a bull rider, what a great place to hang out for 3 or 4 days.
yeah, and contestants are always more limited now than they used to be. So it gave them a better show for their spectators because you had more contestants because they could compete twice instead of two go rounds. It made it two rodeos,
Yep.
and now it just makes it as contestants you can stay. You don't have to put fuel in the truck, and you don't. It was just a win for everybody except for the other rodeos going on, and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of caught a little flack for that. And
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Okay.
think of that when I thought of this
Right.
idea,
Right.
but I do now. I said,
Oh,
oh
man.
yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking from you because they're staying here for
You bet.
more money.
You
Well,
bet.
up your money. Let's go.
That's right. That's right.
Uh,
Raise it all up. Absolutely. No, I love that innovation from a competitive standpoint. Oh my goodness, what a great thing they did. And when I think of Benton, that's what they do. They continuously innovate and continuously improve. Let's move on to Attica, 65 years this year, August 3rd through the 6th. Kicks it off on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And then you've got a Friday night performance. You got two performances on Saturday and two performances, I believe, on Sunday, Sam?
no, there's only one performance
Okay.
on Sunday now.
Okay.
So they put the Thursday night performance in and
Oh,
changed
that's
it,
right.
and a limited
Absolutely.
Sunday night, and everything seems to be looking good there. They're having lots of events at Attica. It's really,
Mm-hmm.
in the past 10 years, has changed. It sat idle for most of the time till the
Mm-hmm.
team punters started coming in, and now they're doing barrel racing Thursday. They actually canceled the one last night because of the smoke.
Yeah. Oh, they
And
did. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't realize it was
but
that bad up there. My goodness.
and they're doing horse shows with kids now, so a lot of people are involved at Attica
Hmm.
throughout the summer now instead of just the rodeo time, and it just is fantastic because it brings people there and it builds contestants,
Hmm. Hmm.
through the
Oh,
years. So
absolutely. And got to build a fan base too, right? I mean, if I go there and watch my daughter or my son perform during the regular season, no doubt I'm going to head back there for the rodeo when that opens up. 65 years. There's a lot of memories there, Sam. At some point, we got to delve just a little bit deeper. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about Attica in the future. But great rodeos coming up. No doubt we've missed some that are around, but up in your neck of the woods, Sam, Attica for sure. You talked about Eli is out Sunday at Ellicottville, and of course we're talking about Eli Hirschberger, one of the Cowboys that you got started. What's he up to? What are you hearing? And then I'll ask about Raymond right after him.
Eli, I talked to him a little bit yesterday. He's been having some trouble with his saddle, and he switched hands, and we talked about
Oh wow.
different different things. And I said, you get your saddle right. And he
Mm-hmm.
told me what was going on. I said, your stirrup, if you're coming off that other side, your one stirrup's got to be longer than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess he said that's feeling good now. And I said,
Okay.
you ride left-handed. I said, you're going to feel terrible trying to ride right-handed. He said, on the
Mm-hmm.
machine, it felt really good. I
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, but your mindset has always
Mm-hmm.
been your other hand. Use what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Use what you know and go ride. So
Mm-hmm.
he said he hadn't been riding good. Hopefully, his saddle, I'm sure, was the biggest part of that. And
Okay.
hopefully, he'll turn it around this week and go.
And he switched
And
hands. He got hurt.
no,
No.
he wasn't riding good, so he tried something different.
Oh, so you
And
said no, go back and ride left-handed again. Get your saddle fixed and ride left-handed.
correct.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
And Raymond,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he called me the other day. He missed books at a rodeo and wanted to know if he could go. And I called BJ. It was one in Canada, and I said, "Well, if you got room for two guys, bronc riders," he said, I really don't,
Mm-hmm.
but they should go to Sylvain's rodeo up in Quebec,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something. If he wins that, he gets to go to one of those WCRA events.
Oh
So
yeah.
he
Yeah.
just, yeah, they decided to go to Quebec instead,
Oh, they
and
did. Okay. Okay.
he's out in Ellicottville Saturday, so I might go see him,
You bet.
but
And he's healthy and
we'll
going
see.
pretty good.
Yes, and Raymond is usually healthy all the time. He's one of those stronger, tougher type Amish guys that can bear through it. So
Okay.
he's yeah, and he's riding good. He's only been going to like Cowtown, but I think he's been there 3 or 4 times and won every one
Okay.
except for maybe one. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And then someone we haven't talked about. This would be your nephew's son, Carl Runfola. Saw him on Facebook. He had a great ride. I forget exactly where it was, riding saddle broncs, and looks like his schedule is on the 28th, which was 2 days ago. He was in Stamford, Texas. Last night in Amarillo, Texas. Tonight it looks like Wellington, Texas. Tomorrow on the 1st, if I've got my dates right, Teague, Texas, and then 2 days later, Granbury, Texas. So he is really out there on the road, Sam. What have you heard?
well, his father sends me pictures quite often and talks a little bit about it. Uh, Carl is really riding good. And I had not had a lot of input with Carl. He never really started riding until he was about a senior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been around us here and watching it, but never really wanted to do it. Maybe until he went to college, and he went to college where Dalen went. And really, this past year, it's come together and excelling. He's he sent me a picture that was just outstanding. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I rode for 20 some years and I didn't get one that good.
Right,
So,
right.
uh, is really doing well and
That is
got a
neat.
good head on his
Yep,
shoulders and
yep.
good kid,
Good,
good kid.
good. Well, we want to keep up with him, so whatever we can find out about him, and I'll keep following him on Facebook, and we'll see where he is. But go to it, call. Let's have some fun. He's got a big run, and when you talk about this time of the year, Sam, they call it Cowboy Christmas because of the number of rodeos that a person can get to.
Yeah, there's rodeos everywhere now. I mean, it is you can you can go to one almost every day if your finances hold out for you, and it's just a good time of year for a rodeo contestant.
You bet. You bet. All right. So, as we end each show, I got to ask, how's Colton? And the next time we get together, Sam, maybe we can talk a little bit about Colton's history, a little bit of where he's been, what he's done, and tell us what's going on and what you know about Colton.
Well, Colton's, of course, I'd love to talk about Colton, like I did Dale.
Yeah, yeah.
Any one of the four kids I can yak about, but
Absolutely.
Colton
Absolutely.
is living the cowboy dream. He is out there going to a rodeo almost every day
Excellent.
and just loving what he's doing.
Okay.
And I'm not saying he's winning a lot, but he will
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's loving what he's doing and he's got the education and knowledge. And Carrie and I talked a little bit the other day that, it's an education right now.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it is, education's expensive and it's
It
hard
is.
to get down on yourself for not winning all the time, but he will, and it'll be good. I'm not saying he's not winning,
Mm-hmm.
winning some.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so tough out there in
You
the
bet.
steer wrestling.
You
It's
bet.
just so tough.
Yep.
And as long as he keeps the attitude and loving what he's doing, I watched him on TV there the other night,
Mm-hmm.
and it had it's he's only, unless he's done it when I hadn't seen it, but they, instead of just to shoot and open it up when you nod your head, they bring the steers up an alley. So they got
Mm-hmm.
the steers are running when you're running and you're
Nice.
leaving there. It's a whole different setup.
Holy
And I told
cow.
Kara, I said, he must have loved that because
Yeah.
that'd be cowboy shit.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that'd be right up his alley because
Okay.
he is cowboy through and through.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's excellent. He's healthy.
he's healthy. He said he went to a practice pen and bulldog the best he's bulldog since his knee got hurt.
Excellent.
So
Excellent. Excellent.
if you keep that mindset,
You bet.
that's great.
You bet.
That's great.
And for our listeners, it's amazing. Number one, how many steer wrestlers are going to show up for some of these big rodeos? I mean, you're 100+ competitors, right?
Yes, and probably everyone that he's going to because he's going to the big ones out there. Because
Yeah.
I wanted to go see him and Dalen in Cheyenne, and
Yeah.
I was trying to see him. Colton said he wasn't going, but he was going to go to Red Lodge, Montana, or somewhere where maybe I could drive over and still see him.
Right.
But those guys, they're just going to everyone they can get to. So it's not just 100 contestants, but it may be 100 contestants, but there's so many world champions and NFR qualifiers at every one.
Yep.
If you win at them,
Yep.
you should be so proud.
Yeah,
If
that
you
was
get any money.
absolutely. That
Just-
was the second thing I was going to talk about, just how ultra competitive. I can catch every time. I cannot break barriers, and there's 30 other guys that can do the same thing.
Yeah, probably 70 or 80 other guys that can do the same thing.
Okay. I wasn't sure of the math. I wasn't sure of the probabilities or the percentages, but you're going to make me get my stat book back out, Sam. We haven't had that
Don't
out
do
since the PBR finals.
You don't do that. There'll be years for that.
I know. Hey, remind me next time we get together, I'm in a resiliency training program with the Miracle Activation Center. It actually starts here in about a half hour. And I'd like to give you an update, Sam. It's pretty cool. So maybe the next time we get together. Anything else on your mind, Sam? Anything else we need to talk about before we say goodbye?
Well, I'd like to really learn a lot more about that program,
Okay.
and we can talk about that. But
You bet. You
no,
bet.
I think I'll try to get to Ellicottville and give you an update on how things went there. But it's been a blessing to talk about the kids and
You bet.
try to inform some people that really didn't know, because you just assume that people know this stuff.
You
But
bet. You bet.
I should not do that, because the people who are talking about the ride to me are people that you would never even dream that they would brush a horse, let alone be interested in what's going on.
You bet. Oh, I think it's tremendous what they're doing and how they're going to connect. I've got to imagine the PBR is picking up bull riding fans right and left as a result of that.
Yeah, I think that was money well spent. Whoever did it or whatever was going on, money well spent.
You bet. You bet. All right, Sam. Well, I've got a tractor pull I'm going to be going to tomorrow night. My neighbor, he pulls a stock tractor, but I don't know, makes something like 3,500 horsepower. It's just crazy. A big old diesel. Ooh. Yeah. So I'm going to go. He came and picked me up the other day, and he says, you need to come take a look at my tractor. And I did. And it's international. Cool. So Paris, Kentucky, at the fair tomorrow night. So that's where we're headed. So I'll be able to talk a little bit about tractor pulling. I love tractor pulling.
We might need to talk about that, because I got a neighbor that I see at lunchtime quite often that goes to the big tractor pulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went to Wisconsin last weekend.
Oh, my goodness. He's a traveler. He's out there in the world.
Yeah. I actually did a rodeo in Kentucky, and he was down there not Kentucky, Virginia. And he was down there pulling tractors at the Virginia State Fair. So that was years ago, but I didn't even know he did it until then. So pretty cool.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about tractor pulling next time we get together.
Okay.
You know, it's rodeo, wrestling, and racing, and we got to come up with an R for tractor pulling. That's all there is to it. Or something ridiculous. There you go. Ridiculous. All right, Sam. Well, I hope you have a good day. And to our listeners, we hope that you enjoy our podcast as much as we enjoy doing it, as much as we enjoy putting this together. Great conversations. If you do, please share it with your friends. Help us spread the word. Repost the episodes up on Facebook. And help someone find it on their phone. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. Search for Beyond the Chutes. Find us, follow us, like us, whatever you do. YouTube video, you can check it out. Beyond the Chutes on YouTube. And remember to check out the New York State Rodeo Museum Facebook group page and become a member. This is Beyond the Chutes. Until next time. This is Doug Simcox, Sam Swearingen saying thank you. Have a safe day. Stay hydrated and stay away from the smoke.